how the luminaries will be supporting you throughout January 2024. Welcome everybody to Our Sky, Our Story podcast. My name is Kelita, Sahliah. If you're new, if you're not, then welcome. Basically, I use astrology of the sky, so I look at the actual visible sky to interpret astrology, because of course that's where astrology is happening. It's not just a circle chart. And welcome to this new segment, which I will be releasing a video the first of every month to show you how the luminaries will be supporting you for that month. Okay, so this video is coming out on YouTube tomorrow. Well, for the 1st of Jan it will be out on YouTube, but then after that it will be on my Patreon for my Patreon supporters to get that extra depth to know how the luminaries will support you. So of course, if you do like this, then stick around for the rest of them, because as well as we'll be doing this every month, we will be getting into the energies of the moons as well. So if you do have this calendar, or if you don't, do grab it. All of the moons, I hope this isn't showing up backwards, it shouldn't, but all of the moons have a name to them. So we'll be getting into the energies behind them, like deeply. We're going to be looking deep using some gematria, and linking it to the periodic table to see how the chemical impacts our bodies. Basically, we're going deep into the moon. So if you do and would like to subscribe to my Patreon, then there will be 2 videos every month, as well as some extra ones, but you'll definitely be getting 2 starting in April when we do the moons, but for February it will be there anyway. And of course, you can grab the calendars, it's available. We're still on this one, so that's what we'll be using for today. But anyway, let's get into the video, how the luminaries will be supporting you throughout January 2024. We're literally in a new year, people. Obviously, it's the Gregorian calendar, like the new year not start yet. It not really start yet till spring and life come up. But I say it go, we're following the Gregorian calendar. Though my calendar isn't in alignment with the Gregorian, as it starts in April, we follow the zodiacs. However, when it comes to these videos, we are going to be synchronizing all of the luminaries together pretty much, and seeing how they'll support you. We will also be linking it into the numerology of the month as well. So I do the numerology of the month every month on YouTube anyway, so feel free to check that out, where I'll go into a bit more depth. But we're going to synchronize the numerology with the luminaries and see how that goes. We won't be paying too much attention to the moons, as I feel we go through that every Thursday anyway. And of course, when the other moon cycles start in April, we'll be going into the moons deeper, so the moon won't be looked at too much now. However, we're going to be synchronizing all of the bigger luminaries, the ones that don't move that often, and seeing how they impact. Because on my Thursday videos, I don't really speak on Chiron, I don't really talk on Lilith too much unless she's transiting, or Pluto, because they're bigger luminaries and they don't do that much. So this is where every month we'll be synchronizing it all together. So we're going to start off with the numerology of the month, so we can get a basis of what is going on. And bear with me, this is going to be a one-take video. There's no editing. I'm just not able to do that. It's on my phone. But anyway, I go through 3 numerologies. If you don't know, I do go through 3 numerologies. We go through the Gregorian calendar, so the one that the whole world stage follows, and then the original calendar, because technically January would be the 11th month, because Des is 10, December would be the 10th month, Nov is 9, the 9th month for November, and Oct is 8. But of course, Gregorians, they've shifted it, but we're basically getting the numerology for the original calendar too, because January would be the 11th, and then we follow the moon cycles as well. So we are on our 10th moon cycle of the year, so we look at all of them. And as you can see, for the Gregorian we're getting 9, for the original we're getting 1, the binary code +1, and then for the 13 moons anyway we're getting 9. So that's telling me the 9 energy is potent right now. along with the one energy, of course, because we're getting one, 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 one. So 9 and 1s are very potent when it comes to January 2024. So what that is telling me is that there is a whole heap of endings and beginnings happening this month. And just like the transits alone, we're pretty much going to cover all of the transits as well as where the luminaries are sat. But the transits alone seems quite powerful, so we're going to be looking into that. Usually on my Thursday videos we do go into tarot, but I'm not going to be doing that for this. I'm not, because I already do the month for it in my Thursday video, so check that out. We'll leave that out for these videos. But anyway, we know now that we've got endings and beginnings happening quite boldly. These endings that are coming in is coming with a lot of wisdom, because the 9 energy is ethereal in nature and has a lot of wisdom. It's at the end of the spectrum, so it's basically gathered all its wisdom, what it knows, and is wise, you know, and from this wisdom that you know, so you're ready to end on this expanded state of awareness. Basically, we then enter into this new energy, this new beginnings that are coming up. And obviously I do find it interesting, because maybe this is why the Gregorian calendar is kind of just pushed. It's like, oh, happy new year, blah blah, because we, as I says, we don't know, it's not even a new year yet. But maybe it's because of the numerology, because ultimately, no, it would be different every year, of course, because it wouldn't be 2024, but ultimately maybe it has some impact on that. Definitely this year anyway. Endings and beginnings are potent. So let's look at the luminaries and see how it aligns and synchronizes with these endings and beginnings for the numerology. So we still have, I will put the transits on. Should I put the transits on now? Let me look in my calendar. We're in January. We're basically in January. So here's a picture for January. We're reaching for the stars right now. We're reaching for the stars, and here's all the transits. But before we get into what the transits are, let's just take a peep at where the luminaries are. So the sun right now is still in Sagittarius. The moon, it will be in Leo on the 1st of January, but we're not paying too much attention to the moon. Mercury, it is going to transit, but right now it's retrograding, and it will be retrograding on the 1st of January, but I believe it's the 2nd, yeah. 2nd of January, it stations direct, so it will no longer be retrograding at the beginning of this month, and that is sat in Ophiuchus. We have Venus in Scorpio. Mars will be in Sagittarius. Jupiter is in Aries. Saturn is in Aquarius. Uranus is still retrograding, but that's in Aries as well. And we have Neptune sat in Pisces. Pluto is in Sagittarius, but not for long. Lilith is in Libra. Fortuna is in Sagittarius, as well as the inner child luminary that's sat in Ophiuchus. And what's this one? Chiron. He's still retrograding. I don't know when he stations direct. Is he in this calendar? I think I've added him in the other calendar. Yeah, Chiron wasn't included in this calendar, but he is in this one. Okay. But Chiron is chilling in Pisces for a very long time, and I feel this is why I don't really mention Chiron. So we're kind of going to go backwards with them, the bigger ones first. And he is retrograding. He still will be in January, but he may station direct in January at some point. I have to clarify that in the next video, so we'll know for February over in the Patreon. Okay, but what I'm kind of seeing here, starting with Chiron anyway, is that's the slowest moving. Chiron represents like a past wound, so it depends on what you subscribe to. If you subscribe to past lives, it's a wound that you had in your past life. If you don't subscribe to that, it's a wound that you received as a child and early adult years, basically. So you would have had, it's known as the wounded warrior, the wounded soldier. And when it comes to this luminary, it's not even really about healing anything. It's about accepting who you are, because basically within this energy you would have been yourself in a particular way, and you weren't accepted that way, and then you got a wound basically from however the hologram wanted to play you. You received a wound. So that is the Chiron energy, and right now it is in Pisces. So what is this telling me? And it's also retrograded in Pisces. So when it comes to retrogrades, keep this in mind for the ones that are retrograding. But when it comes to retrogrades, is this one retrograding? No. Yeah. When it comes to retrogrades, it offers the... it can slow down a little because obviously it's moving backwards in the sky, not forwards. But it offers basically a redo, a going over, a crossing the I's and dotting the T's. I always say that wrong, but that's basically it. It offers that redo, that going over to... put things in place, to do things you didn't really have the space or capacity to do before when it was moving forward, so that when it's ready to then move forward, you have now that space, capacity, literally within your cellular DNA, to withhold this new data and to live out life basically from how you've put things in place. You have the capacity to fill in the gaps, to move forward in momentum. So that is Chiron. No, that's retrogrades basically. So of course, when it comes to Chiron retrograding, when it comes to accepting who you are and being who you are, that's literally all it is. It's accepting and being, because you were wounded within this energy. To have a deeper knowing obviously of how it's going to impact you, you need to know your own placement. So I believe, I can't fully remember, but I believe my Chiron is in sextants. So if you don't know, there are more star constellations on here. We've got sextants right there at the bottom, because there's more than 12, you know, there's more than 12 constellations. There's 88 in the sky, so we look at about 16 to 17 where the major luminaries transit through, but there's so much more and it's beautiful. So definitely grab an app and look up at the sky yourself, you know. So anyway, I'm going to give mine as an example, and if you know yours, just apply it this way. So my Chiron is in sextants, and that star constellation is a tool that is used to know the location and placement and to measure the stars basically. So I see that as, because we are the stars, it's about knowing your place in the collective, what you're here to do, and it's like, yeah, that's where I am shining in that area. So that's how I see that star constellation sextants. But for me, there was a wound there. So basically it came across as I didn't really know my place, or where I thought was my place, I was wounded in that area. So I have to I've been working on it in this lifetime, whereas from my childhood, really knowing and accepting this is my place and this is how I'm ready to shine. Okay, so it's combining that with obviously where it is now in Pisces. So take note of your own placement. I do offer birth chart readings if you would like, that is available, but right now it's in Pisces. So we're getting this wound in terms of this Pisces energy. Now Pisces is full of wisdom. It's pretty much like this 9 energy. It's got all of the zodiacs within it, because it's the 13th sign. Ophiuchus is the 9th. Okay, Ophiuchus is the 9th. So this mic's still on. So Pisces has a lot of wisdom in there, and because it does have that wisdom, it likes to express this wisdom in very creative ways, whether that's through art, through dancing, music, any form of creative expression, basically, to share your wisdom. It does cover things that are a little bit not so widely accepted. It can be quite hidden. It covers the 12th house, so it's things like religion, spirituality, and things that aren't quite widely accepted by the collective consciousness. But again, it draws into this wisdom, this spirituality, or even religion, because it's trying to pull to recognize the depth of everything. Like Pisces energy wants to go deep. So basically what I'm seeing here when it comes to the collective, it's this retrograding back. It's filling in the dots, having that space, that capacity to accept yourself with the Pisces wisdom that you know of, how you truly want to create, how you want to express your wisdom, your knowledge in any way. It's truly accepting that that's the path you want to go down. Many people may have been searching for like, oh, I want to go in this direction, want to go in this sister circle, this religion, this, that. People may have been trying to explore like that a lot, because Chiron has been in Pisces. So obviously with it still being in January, we are still going to be truly learning to accept how we are when it comes to the wisdom that we know and how we want to express that out to the collective. When it comes to the depth of who we are as well, our intuition, our gut instincts, because Pisces is watery in nature, very feminine. So it's trusting your intuition and things of that nature as well. So it's like we're learning to just accept who we are. In this, we're having the space and capacity even throughout January. So if you are feeling inclined to tap into like the deeper depths of who you are and really just being like, this is what I know and I'd like to express it in this way, I'd like to share my wisdom in this way, even if people don't understand, because the hologram with this luminary is going to create distractions, illusions, to shut you down. Like, that's what it likes to do. But I always say, if that happens, use it as a sign and signal to say, no, I'm on the right path and I'm doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna say throughout January, definitely trust the wisdom that you know. Doesn't matter how taboo or hidden it is, and trust any way or form you truly like to express that in your own way related to you, because it will be beneficial. So that is Chiron. We're going to move to Pluto. Pluto is transiting, but we'll touch on Pluto now. So Pluto is the next like slowest moving luminary and it has been in Sagittarius. It transited out of it for a while. Remember, this is based on the sky, not mainstream astrology. This will tell you it's in Capricorn right now and getting ready to go into Aquarius, but it is not, according to the sky up there. So Pluto, it has been in Sagittarius for a while, and this is why the whole collective has been focused in a new direction, because Sagittarius is this new direction where you've got to learn about it. Cryptocurrency came up, we learned a lot about manifestations, you're in control of your reality, loads of alternative health. We learned a lot, loads of, let's say, tax fraud. I mentioned it in my crypto angles video earlier on. I feel I need to do just a whole big video just about Pluto, but I don't know, it depends if there's time after this. But we were in that space of learning. So the beginning of January, it is a slower moving luminary, so we will still be in that space of a focused direction on where we'd like to go, and learning, gaining your own philosophy of things. So definitely whatever you feel drawn to learning, studying, sharpening your direction and focus, still trust that. It is transiting, so we're getting to the transit soon after we cover these, but definitely trust that in January, because you are still transforming through this. Pluto is transformative in nature, so it's about experiences will be drawn to you to give you the opportunity to interact with that experience, and from that you then transform through it. Okay, because Pluto, it doesn't care about anything except giving you what you want. You say, I want to do this, it says okay, we're doing it. It will then draw experiences to you to give you that opportunity to transform through it. So that's basically Pluto being in Sagittarius. We then have, I probably should have went like that, it's the first time doing it, so bear with me, but if you do appreciate it, do let me know. So just linking this Pluto into the numerology though, this 9 ending, as this is transiting, we were in this energy since I think 2006 of all of this learning, so we're getting ready to come to the full-on end of it. So I love the synchronization of that, like, for sure. And again, even with Chiron in Pisces, it's just being in that wisdom, all the wisdom that we know of this depth of life, and then stepping into the new beginning of wanting to, obviously accepting how we want to create that. So we then have child is going to transit as well, I'm sure. Yeah, child is going to transit, but right now it's in Ophiuchus. So this is our inner child, and we collaborate, we co-create with our inner child. We're meant to nurture, listen to our inner child, you know. And right now it's in Ophiuchus, so our inner child is ready for transformation, endings, getting ready for the beginnings. Okay, it's ready for true transformation, as Ophiuchus is known as the serpent bearer, the healer and transmutator of energy. It does link to magnesium, which is like the sustainer, generator of energy on the periodic table. So I always say make sure you are keeping up on your magnesium at this time in winter, of course, because that alone will be pleasing for your inner child. And this transformation on a cellular level, it basically allows your cells to transform. So again, you have that capacity to hold the data of the new that is coming. Okay, and transforming will be part of cultivating and nurturing your inner child. So yeah, so throughout January, if you just naturally been feeling like, oh, I really would like to just transform, want to transform in certain areas, I really need to pick up on this, get more organized, do more exercise, whatever it is, to allow you that space and capacity to actually have the capacity basically to live that life you've been thinking in your head. Okay, is going to be helpful for your inner child. So moving on to fortune, I believe this is transiting as well this month, but it's starting off in Sagittarius. So fortune is basically the areas where you'll be fortunate and prosperous in. It's fortune and prosperity. So you being within this Sagittarius energy, and do keep in mind the sun, the ego, is operating through this lens anyway, but you being within this energy, you'll be fortunate and prosperous. So you still being in like the energy of, oh, focusing, having precision, because Sagittarius has got his bow and arrow, so it's very precise in the direction you'd like to go. It's that mature fire signs. You've got maturity to know, like, yep, that's the direction. You've got that passion, because it's a fire sign. You've got passion in you, that desire to want to learn, and things of that nature. So you being in that energy, just as we're kind of closing out with this transformation, you're still going to be fortunate. But this, as I said, it is transiting at the end of the month. So this shift of being like, this is the focus, is changing. It is changing, but we'll get into that in the transit. We then have Lilith, a little confirmation but we then have Lilith in Libra. She will be transiting as well, as I can see. I'll write them here in a bit, but she'll be transiting. But right now, at the beginning of the month, she will be in Libra. So Lilith represents an area that we are truly passionate in, but we're being suppressed in that area from the hologram, noise from the hologram, basically. So we've probably got this natural passion to really want to create balance within our lives, because Libra is about balance. Ultimately, it fuels the 7th house, so it is a lot about relationships. So this could also be the relationship you've got with yourself, the relationship you've got with your work-life balance, your projects. So it's all of that too, as well as people, romantic, friendship, family, business partnerships. So you've probably got this passion, this desire to really create balance in a lot of areas in your life. But the hologram may be making noise because, of course, it does represent being suppressed from external noise, as she was Adam's first wife and she had to fly her wings and say, fuck this shit, I'm going. So, yeah, you may have that passion and that desire, and really still working actively to create balance in your life, even if that's trying to make sure you're keeping up with your friends and things of that nature. So if you do feel like you've been out of balance, you feel like you've been neglecting either yourself or some people, it's okay. The hologram will create situations to keep you suppressed in that area. But if you are naturally feeling that that's your passion, then continue to create that balance, continue to work on it at the beginning of January. And she is transiting But of course we're getting to the transit of her soon. Moving on to Neptune now, so we're going to go like this, okay? Moving on to Neptune. It's not retrograding. Neptune is just sat in Pisces. Maybe it's close to Chiron, not quite sure. But Neptune represents your intuition, your visions, and also I like to say your goals, your dreams, because ultimately Neptune can be a bit delusional, but that's because it knows if you have a certain dream about something, because it doesn't see separation, it's Poseidon's trident, basically very watery and feminine in nature. It sees, just like water, the connection to all and everything. So when it comes to your dreams, ultimately your visions that you have about your life, it sees that it's possible. Okay, so you can achieve that. So when it comes to Neptune, obviously pay attention to your dreams, your intuition, your literal physical dreams, and the dreams that you have in your waking life. Pay attention to that. And of course it's in this Pisces energy, so it's synchronizing a bit to accepting that that's who you are with Chiron. So we've got when it comes to one, because it is in Pisces, and Neptune fuels Pisces as well as Jupiter. So Neptune and Jupiter fuel Pisces. So basically when it comes to your dreams, your intuition, even reaching your goals, it may have something to do with the depth of who you are, the wisdom that you know, and how you want to express that out, because that's also accepting who you are. And it's in your intuition and dreams anyway, so of course this can only relate to you, but I will just amplify the fact of that idea and the wisdom that you have in your head, in your mind, what you'd like to do. Definitely trust yourself, accept that that's who you are, and it could be linking to your long-term goals, your dreams and your visions, this acceptance of who you are. So going on to Uranus now. So these ones are definitely bigger, so they're going to be similar pretty much every month, but we're synchronized. It child moves and these two move, as well as Mars and Venus. They move much more, so we're synchronize it to them. So when it comes to Uranus now, Uranus is known as the father of electricity, so it can bring about sudden change in your life. Now Uranus is retrograding literally till 27th, as can you see? It's retrograding till 27th of this month, so we're basically in that crossing the I's, dotting the T's mode when it comes to Uranus. Now Uranus can bring about sudden change. It can be a bit challenging because that change can tear the old down to make way for the new, so that's where the challenge can come in. But it's in Aries, so Aries is about the front house. So what this is telling me is that this retrograde period is we've been crossing the I's, dotting the T's to make sure we've done everything, because we've now got a bit more space capacity, so when it's ready to move forward, it's going to show up clearly in our front house. That's all I'm going to say on that, because it is transiting, so I'm going to touch on it again. When it comes to Saturn, Saturn is in Aquarius. Now Saturn is based on time. It's based on time, so what we're doing right now is we're spending a lot of time in this Aquarian energy. Okay, and Saturn's going to be there till 2025. So Saturn gives you the structure and discipline necessary, because you're spending a lot of time in that area in order to get things done. So it's about long-term goals, stability, structure, consistency when it comes to Saturn. So we've been in this energy of Aquarius, so spending a lot of time in there, having to be consistent, show up, to set foundations when it comes to this Aquarius energy. So this is based on your unique idea, networking, socializing, giving. It's something of how you want to give, because he's known as the water bearer and water's pouring off him. So we've been spending a lot of time in that area, so it would be interesting to know kind of like what you've been doing. For me personally, I have been creating my calendars. I have been putting a lot more effort into my social media, my YouTube, as you can see, my TikTok as well, and I've had to just show up consistently. So we are still going to be in that energy in January, of course, and I feel it links to the depth when it comes to Chiron, of accepting this is who you want to be, that may have something to do with your unique idea and what you'd like to give as well. And bear in mind, when it comes to this unique idea, accepting who we are, what we want to give, the being fortunate, is we're seeing it through the lens of Sagittarius, of okay, this is the direction I'm ready to go in when it comes to this unique idea, when it comes to why your inner child wants to transform, accepting who you are with your depth and your wisdom, reaching these goals and dreams, and to create that balance in order to go in this direction, to create that balance in order to bring out this unique idea. You see, this is how we're linking it together. So moving on to Jupiter, it's known as a luminary of expansion. So Jupiter, all it wants to do is expand. That's it. People often link it to the planet of luck, but all it does is expand. It can expand you in an addiction, and it can expand you in something amazing. It will just expand. It's not biased like that. So it's in Aries. So along with like Uranus, where it's ready to create this electric change, you are going to expand within the first house, your appearance, what people know of you, and things of that nature. Is everything first house, your career, because it's people will see, okay, that's where they work, that's what you do, your appearance, your physical appearance, your health, and things of that nature. You are going to be expanded. So it's going to be a noticeable change when it comes to your appearance and how people view and see you when it comes to January. And it kind of has been, you probably noticed, because it's been there when it transited this year from Pisces into Aries. So we moved from that Pisces energy into, okay, front house is changing. So people would have just started to see, okay, this is what you're about, because we're being expanded in that area. When it comes to Mars, I believe Mars isn't transiting. So Mars is staying where it is. But Mars is, yeah, because it's recently moved, literally on the 1st, it moved on the 31st of December, Mars into Sagittarius. So when it comes to Mars, this is our drive and our passion. So it's that burning flame within us, and it's kind of like Mars being the god of war, what gets you up and gets you going, like gets your energy fully moving. So that's the Mars technology. Yeah, I didn't say it. So this one moves your energy, this expands your energy, this keeps your energy in a certain time. This one can bring sudden change to your energy. This one can connect your energy to anything ultimately. This is the key for your energy. This is the fortune, because this X marks the spot, like matter. And yeah, so on, basically. This transforms your energy. So when it comes to Mars anyway, we're getting this drive and this passion now when it comes to this direction. So picking up on where fortune is, where the ending of Pluto is, and of course how the sun is looking, your ego is looking through the lens of that. It's through this Sagittarius energy. So we're going to be even more just like, okay, I'm passionate about my direction now. So going into January, this may be a strong passion. This is the direction I'm going in, because that's where Mars is. Okay, so keep that in mind. So again, that could be what you're choosing to learn, where you'd like to travel, because Sag does cover travel. So you're focused like, yeah, this is the direction I'm ready to go. This is what I'd like to invest in. This is what I'm studying. And you're clear, you're focused, you're precise now when it comes to your passion. Yeah, making sure nothing's on my lips. We then got Venus. It's moving into Scorpio, and it is having a little dance. It's only going to be in Scorpio for a little before it goes into Ophiuchus. So Venus represents all of the material. It's what you value within your material reality, which makes you want to use your 6 senses to interact with it, basically. Sight, touch, taste, hearing, smell, as well as intuition. It does cover love and money too, because that's part of the material reality, I guess. And yeah, so that's Venus. Basically, it's going through this little Scorpio death. So when it comes to what you find valuable, which you'd want to use your 6 senses to interact with it, it is tapping down into this deep passion. So I feel this just synchronized with like this Sagittarius energy, this bit of fortune happening here. It's about this deep passion, because Scorpio is fueled by, I'll show you, Scorpio, as you can see, I literally have to have the camera in a mirror to make sure it's there. But as you can see, Scorpio is fueled by Pluto as well as Mars, and it's a water element. So we've got passion coming up here, that fiery flame passion of Mars, and that transformation. So it's like what you may be drawn in the beginning half of January anyway is your six senses you find valuable, really tapping into your true passions. And I feel it's tapping into that and truly experiencing it with your six senses will bring about that transformation before she enters Ophiuchus to transform you. So yeah, that's how we're starting the beginning of January, and we're getting ready to transform when it comes to our senses. So again, we're transforming to bring us in this direction. We're transforming because child is all up in Ophiuchus anyway. We're accepting that this is who we really are, so we need to transform to accept this, to bring out our wisdom. And this transformation will change us first house. Yeah. And this change first house could be have a lot to do with our unique idea and how we'd like to give. So that's what I'm seeing there. And of course, Mercury moves a little quicker, but Mercury is our energy exchange. So at the beginning of the month, the moon is not long, but Mercury is still retrograding, so there's a little retrograde energy there until it transitions out. So again, we're crossing the I's, dotting the T's when it comes to how we're ready to transform. You see, endings, getting ready for beginnings. We are crossing the I's, dotting the T's because it's sat in Ophiuchus along with child. But of course, it is stationing direct soon, and we'll touch on that when it moves. So just keep in mind that we're crossing the I's, dotting the T's still at the beginning of the month on how we're going to exchange our energy when it comes to our transformation. So just keep in mind what thoughts come up when it comes to giving, when it comes to how you'd like to express yourself. Okay, keep that in mind. Obviously, we're not going to touch too much on the moon, but at the beginning of the month, our emotions, because the moon is the mover of our emotions, is moving in this Leo energy. So at the beginning of the month, if you are feeling just more confident and more bold, assertive, then that's good. It's moving you in that direction to accept all of this transformation, these endings, and getting ready to go into the beginnings. And of course, as I mentioned, the moon, the sun, the ego is operating through the lens of going in this new direction anyway. So you're just focused like, this is what I'd like to do. All of this transformation is accepting. You're seeing it through the lens of, where is it taking me? I want to go over there. So I need to learn this. I need to study this, etc. So that's all of them in a nutshell. We're just going to go through the transits to see which ones will be moving and how it will kind of settle for the end of the month. So on the 2nd, we do have Mercury stationing direct in Ophiuchus, as I said. On the 3rd, this is the biggest, we have Pluto entering into Capricorn. On the 5th, Venus then moves into Ophiuchus. On the 10th, we have Mercury entering Sagittarius. Can you see? I feel I'm getting smaller with them. On the 12th, we have Child entering into Serpens. Now I'm just drawing Ophiuchus kind of twice with Serpens because it's basically just a snake, or I guess you could just draw it like that, just a sine wave, either or. Which one do you like? Which one do you like? Because it doesn't have this transit for up until the beginning of 2025, but I feel for the next calendar it will. So I'd like some feedback. How would you like that to be when Child enters Serpens? Let me know. That one or that one. But anyway, on the... I've missed one. On the 20th anyway, we do have the Sun moving into Capricorn. So we're changing our lens, and we have Venus moving into Sagittarius. On the 22nd, that should have been the 22nd, we have Fortune going into Capricorn, along with Black Moon Lilith entering Scorpio. And then on the 27th, I'll write that afterwards, we have Uranus stationing direct, obviously, in Aries. So I hope you can see all of that down there. Let me just write these dates. That's meant to be this 22nd, and that's the 27th. I can't even pause it because like the way the camera is, it's just going to be so awkward. But anyway, there's no need to pause. We can go straight through this. So keep in mind obviously what I said with all of these, and we'll synchronize it all together. I'm just letting this flow out of me. So as I said, Mercury anyway stationing direct in Ophiuchus, so we'll now be moving forward when it comes to how we're exchanging our energy, this energy exchange. So from our own thoughts, from how we're communicating with people, even when it comes to monetary exchange too. We're moving forward with our transformation in that. So monetary things, you could be, especially if you've been feeling restricted in money throughout January, you could be seeing more forward movement. Your money could literally change. The way you've been talking and communicating with people, especially if you felt like communication has probably been one-sided, you've kind of not been getting what you need, it's transforming. So you may communicate in a different way to get the responses you truly need when it comes that way. And even when it comes to your thought process, especially if you probably had negative downward spiral type of thoughts, then it's transforming. Okay, we're moving forward. You've potentially crossed all the I's, dotted the T's, so you've now got that capacity to move forward in your transformation when it comes to how you're exchanging your energy. So when it comes to Pluto now, this is the biggest one. This is the biggest one, and I'm generally feeling to do a more of just like an in-depth video just about this. I don't know, so I can talk just a little bit more, but if I do, I'll probably just go live straight after I've recorded this. I think I will, to be fair. But because this obviously is for my Patreon anyway, and obviously it's on YouTube just now, but Pluto is very, very, very transformative in nature. So as I said, all it wants to do is transform you to that version of you you're ready to become. And it's moving into Capricorn. So the whole collective has come out of this. Okay, this is what we're learning about. We're learning this new direction. Oh, wow, I didn't know this. I've learned this. Like loads of things. I've learned about, have you heard the straw man, tax fraud, crypto, astrology? Like, that's one thing too. Because I didn't know really too much about the sky until Pluto's just there in Sagittarius. I was like, okay, wait, interesting. So we're moving from that now, and we're moving into Capricorn. So Capricorn is about laying solid foundations. That's what Capricorn is about. So when it comes to the entire collective, we're literally transforming through the new solid foundations we are laying down, the new stability that is coming through. And this stability, this foundation, will be like long-term goal orientated. So kind of like what I'm seeing here when it comes to the foundation of our society we've got now, I'm kind of seeing it's from this point on we are going to see it crumble. That's what I'm seeing, because in order for obviously a new solid foundation to come up, the old needs to go. So Pluto's not the easiest energy to work with because it's destructive in nature. To get rid of the old, it's getting ready to set a new foundation. So I will talk more about that, so make sure you catch that video, because that video may come out before this one. But anyway, on the 5th, Venus, as I mentioned, moves from Scorpio into Ophiuchus. So when it comes to our what we're interacting with in our physical reality, it doesn't stay there long, but it's transforming. It is transforming, and yeah, what we're interacting with is going through an entire transformation. Even though Mercury does cover money, so does Venus, but it's part of the material reality. So again, this is why I'm seeing potential like monetary change, love as well, because Venus does cover love through friendships, family, relationships. You may be experiencing that next level of transformation in there as well, starting in January. As Mercury then moves into Sagittarius, we're moving from exchanging our energy in this transformative way, and we're our thoughts, how we're exchanging our energy, how we're exchanging money, how we're communicating with each other is moving in this direct focus. It's like, okay, we're talking in a way where we know clearly now the direction we'd like to go in, and obviously the sun will still be in Sagittarius then. So as we're communicating and exchanging our energy in that way, we're also seeing and operating through that lens of this focus and this direction. Then our inner child moves from Ophiuchus into Serpens. So Serpens is basically just the snake that Ophiuchus is holding. So this is just telling me that when it comes to our inner child, we're even more into the transformation, because the snake can represent full-on healing, depending on your point of view, that Kundalini energy, the Christ chrism oil. It's like the serpent snake healing basically. So I feel that our inner child may be healing round about this time as we're truly going into this new direction. We're transforming. Pluto's getting ready to lay his foundations. It's like our inner child, it's ready to transmute that energy fully, to bring and raise it up through the serpent basically. Confirmation, but that's what I'm seeing there with child. And then of course we then have the sun entering Capricorn and Venus entering Sagittarius on the 20th. So when it comes to the lens our ego operates through, being our sun sign, it's going to begin to see through the lens of, okay, this is the foundation I want to set now. So we're moving from, okay, this is the focus I want to go, and you know that, so you're still focused on a long-term oriented goal. You'll be seeing things through that lens because Capricorn is long-term focus, but instead of kind of just like, I wouldn't say fiery, you're a bit more stable to say, okay, that's a long-term goal and I'm taking my time, earth elements a bit slower to lay and set that foundation. So that's what I'm seeing with the sun, and I feel it's about setting that foundation from all of this transformation that we've been recently going through, with Venus going in there as well. It's like, okay, you've had fractals in you that have begun the transformation, so then your sun fractal, the part, is ready to lay that foundation with how you're truly ready to transform. And then of course Venus moves into Sagittarius, so we're moving from what we find valuable within our material reality, what we want to interact with, from this transformation, this healing and transformation. We're moving to this is the focus I'd like to go. So travel may come up as part of your senses. Travel may be a thing that comes up. You may be more inclined to study even more then as well, to research, to learn other things. These things could be esoteric in nature, could be occult, because Sagittarius is the centurion, is a bit mystical, or it could be higher learning as well and things of that nature, but you're fully experiencing it when Venus moves into that. And I feel because you're seeing through the lens of solid foundations, long-term goals, that's when Venus moves in, because you're now using your senses to interact with something that is long-term goal oriented anyway, because it's precision. You know where you want to go, you're learning new things, traveling potentially, or making plans to travel could be it. Traveling may be a part of your long-term goal and what you'd like to do, and you're seeing it through the lens of, this will lay the solid foundation for me. I hope my leg's not covering the thing. And then we have Fortuna moving into Capricorn, as well as Lilith moving into Scorpio. So Fortuna is going to just be in alignment with the sun, of course. Fortuna, it's fortune and prosperity, and it's going into Capricorn as well. So as you're seeing through the lens of laying this solid foundation down, you will be fortunate in doing so. So of course, I always say, don't force anything, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But as I says, we're moving into this endings and beginnings type of energy. So if you are naturally inclined to be more focused on, this is my goal I'd like to reach. It may take me time because Capricorn's a bit slow moving, but I see how I can lay the structure and foundation. You being in that energy anyway will be fortunate and prosperous for you. It all just blends together. And then of course with Lilith moving into Scorpio, so we may feel or get some external noise coming to the end of the month when it comes to the depth of our passions, basically, and how that could transform us. We may need to be a little bit vulnerable, or accept our vulnerable will truly help us. So vulnerability may pop up because it does make a little sense. You're going through this transformation, going in a new direction. You may feel a little suppressed in that area because Lilith is about suppression. So the hologram will try and make up noise for you to probably make you feel a bit hesitant. Should I transform like this? Should I go in this direction? Should I lay this foundation? But ignore it, okay? Ignore it. I feel Lilith has gone there at that time when foundations are being laid, new directions and transformations, because it's about tapping into your true passion, because Lilith is about your passion. So you need to tap in and use that Scorpio energy of tapping into the depth of who you are and that vulnerability, because that's really your strength. And remember, Scorpio's fueled by Pluto, transformation, as well as Mars. So it's a lot about your passions at this time. And I feel that truly tapping into your passion coming to the end of January, middle to end of Jan, will help in terms of these endings coming in, getting you ready for these beginnings and laying these foundations after transformation. That's what I'm seeing there. And then of course, as all of these begin to lay foundations, bring precision on your vision and direction, what's it called, Uranus stations direct. So as you're getting more precise, more focused, laying these foundations, father of electricity will then come in and stations direct. So it's going to begin to move forward in momentum, and you just operating within, showing up with your transformation. First house, Aries, will bring about that sudden change. So that's where, again, picking up like potential money changes, change to appearance, how people see you. It may just be like, oh wow, this is what you're about and this is what you've really been doing, coming to the end of January. So I feel like, to kind of summarize before we end, my mouth's getting a little tired, I feel that there's a lot of I'll do it after. I feel that there's a lot of transformation that's happening. Basically, there's just a lot of transformation that's happening in January, during January, which is part of all of the endings. And then this one energy will come in, potentially probably middle to the end of January, to really bring about this electric sudden change, which will appear first house. Okay, it will appear first house, and it will be noticeable from the transformations that you've been doing this whole month. You're finishing off, you're completing things, getting ready to enter into the new. So I have no idea how long this video is. That is kind of what I'm seeing, how the luminaries will be supporting you for the month of January. Do let me know, of course, if you did like this, if you like the depth of it, going into this once a month to synchronize all the energies in synchronization with numerology as well, because I will be doing it every month. So this one will be out on YouTube, but after that it will be on Patreon, because I give a lot to YouTube already, and I'll appreciate any more support. So if you do like this extra in-depth, and I show my face this time on my Thursday videos, I don't show my face. Most of my videos I don't show my face not my regular ones anyway. So yeah, if you did like this and you would like to support me for February's How the Luminaries Support You, then do sign up to my Patreon. I'm actually going to sort out the tier for it now, and I forgot to say it will be donation based. So basically everyone will have access to everything on there. My crypto angles is different, but in terms of this, everyone will have access to it, and you choose what you'd like to donate. So the lowest will be £4. If you're able to do that, that's absolutely fine. But if you choose and would like to donate more because you'd like to support more, that's absolutely fine as well. There are higher tiers, but everyone will have access to it all, because we're all at different stages. Some people may want to give more, some people can only give a certain amount. So this is why I'm choosing to do it donation based. And of course, if you are a Patreon supporter, then you will get not just 10% off, you get 20% off all of my products if you are a Patreon supporter as well. So you're more than welcome to join me over there. Yeah, so with that being said, do let me know if this helped in any way. Oh, I'm stuck to the chair. If you liked it, and of course I'll see you next month, the 1st of February 2024. Wow. But anyway, with that being said, Angel out. Bye.